Apps can do a lot of cool things. You could order dinner, gamble on your favorite team, and track your health. You could even get a mortgage. One click and you can be approved. I'm not sure by who or what country they're in. You deserve more from the mortgage industry. At AnyMac Home Mortgage, we believe in the need for live human interaction during a very complex process. The kind of service and guidance which an app simply can't provide. Our customers are more than credit scores and income documents. They're individuals and families who live in and strengthen our communities. Their story is our story, and that story begins in a home. Chris Sawyer is an expert on providing superior customer service and in meeting the mortgage needs of current and future homebuyers. With over 18 years of experience in the industry, Chris is able to help customers migrate through the home buying and home financing process by using his wealth of knowledge as a well-qualified mortgage professional. And best of all, Chris is located in Cromwell, Connecticut, where he has helped hundreds of clients in Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island make their dreams of home ownership a reality. Visit chrissawyer.any-mac.com. Email him at csawyer@any-mac.com or give him a call, 860-878-8730.
Chris Sawyer, NMLS number 39345, corporate NMLS number 338923. AnyMac Home Mortgage, an equal housing lender. American Neighborhood Mortgage Acceptance Company, LLC. DBA AnyMac Home Mortgage. Go Direct. Connecticut First Mortgage Correspondent. License lender. Broker number ML 338923. Massachusetts Mortgage Lender and Mortgage Broker License number MC 338923. Rhode Island License Lender. License number 201128110L. Call for additional details.
Welcome to Sports Talk with R&J. I am Steve Risser. We're here with Justin D'Onofrio. So we got a busy show today. We got a winner of the Stanley Cup. The NBA draft is tonight, but we got to start with the Knicks. And big surprise, they got another Nova guy. They trade for Mikal Bridges last night for 4 first-round picks. Yes, they gave up a lot for him, but he's gonna add to a team with Jalen Brunson, with Dante DiVincenzo, with Josh Hart, and with Julius Randle. And we'll see what happens with OG Anunoby. We'll get to that. But I think this is a real big move for the Knicks. I think this is a big move for the Knicks. And we'll get right into it. And with this move, the big question is, with this move, are the Knicks title contenders? Are the Knicks title contenders with this move? And I think they are. I think they are. This is the piece they needed. I think it's the piece they needed. If Randle stays healthy, you have Mikal Bridges, you got Jalen Brunson. I think that's a big three that's good enough to compete for a championship. I really do. I think it's a big three that's good enough to compete for a title. If you compare it to Boston's big three with KP, with Tatum, Brown, and KP, yeah, Boston's definitely a little bit better, but I think this is a big three you could definitely compete for a championship with. Justin, do you agree with me here?
I do. I think, that they are the second best team right now in the East behind the Celtics. Brandon Bridges is a guy that has not missed a game in his NBA career. He's put in every game. And, if this team didn't get banged up last year in the playoffs, again, they probably beat the Pacers. And I think they give the Celtics a run for the money. I don't think they beat them, but I think they get that thing to at least 6 games. The Knicks are going for it. And I didn't mind that they gave up all those draft picks because, they are going for it right now. And I know it's Leon Rose and they've done a little bit better, but, Knicks usually don't have a high percentage rate on hitting on the draft picks. So I didn't mind them giving up a couple of those. And to bring in a guy like Bridges, the chemistry that now, Brunson, DiVincenzo, Bridges, and Josh Hart have, I think it's really going to benefit the Knicks. And the only guy you're missing now is Jay Wright, the coach the team, because this Knicks team's going to be very fun to watch.
Exactly. And I like how you bring up about what they gave up and how it really doesn't mean that much. This is not the NFL. This is the NBA. You don't, honestly, to build sustained success, you can make trades. You could sign free agents. You look at teams that won championships in this league. Did the Heat win because, they built that? Yeah, part of it is because they built the roster. But a big reason why they won those 2 championships is because they went out and got Chris Bosh, and ultimately they went out, LeBron James picked them. The reason the Cavs won a championship in 2016 is because LeBron picked them. A reason the Warriors were so dominant in 2017 and 2018 was because Kevin Durant picked them. And then the reason the Raptors won in 2019 is because they traded for Kawhi Leonard. And then the reason the Lakers won in 2020 is because they traded for LeBron James. I don't care at all about giving up draft picks. This team is going for it, and they had to make a move like this. And I love the fact they made a move like this. I really love the fact they went out and made a move like this to put themselves in position to compete with the Boston Celtics for an NBA championship. And now, speaking of the Boston Celtics, the big question is with this move, where are the Knicks in the Eastern Conference? Are they the best team in the Eastern Conference? I would say no. I would still say the Celtics, but the Knicks definitely close the gap between them and the Celtics.
Yeah, absolutely. I got them. I got them ahead of the Bucks now. I think they're still a better team than the Pacers. I think they're better than the Sixers. So they're right there with the Celtics with the number 2. We'll see what they can get OG Avenatti back. That probably means you lose a Harkenstein, but you could probably either now. I know you still got your 2 draft picks tonight. You could probably find a backup big tonight, or you find a cheap center as a free agent to go along with Mitchell Robinson at the center spot. So I think the Knicks are right there as the second best team. You saw this team last year, with Tibbs. This team was playing really well after the OG and Nobi trade, and this team to get injured, yeah, they're probably in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, definitely. I think they're definitely in the Eastern Conference Finals if this team is healthy. I definitely think they beat the Pacers. But here's the other question. And you brought up OG. What does this mean for OG Anunoby? I do think with the contract of Bridges, only making 22. I say only making 22 million a year, but in NBA term, and in the NBA, that's seeing these other contracts, these 45 to $50 million deals other guys are making. It's not that much. So with Bridges' contract, even with Brunson and Randall's contract, I think it's possible that the Knicks could bring back OG. I think it's very possible the Knicks bring back OG. I definitely want the Knicks to bring back OG because that would give this team more depth and give them what they need to make a championship run. And this is the highest expectations I'm going to have for the Knicks since the 2000 season. It's the year after they came off losing to the Spurs in the finals. There's high expectations right now for the Knicks, and rightfully so, because they added a really, really good player, and I think they got a really good team right now.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going for it, and yeah, the Knicks, yeah, they gave up all those draft picks, and they still have a good amount of picks still. Like they had a bunch kind of in their pocket to use, and with OG, I know they could still resign them. Yeah, it'll be tough to sign Harkenstein, I believe, if they do get OG back, but I think they could still do it. Does this mean I feel like it's either gonna be OG or they trade like a Julius Randle? I feel like I feel like that's a direction it's possibly to go. So
if you give me the choice, I would obviously keep Randle because Randle is a better player than OG. If you gave me the choice, I would keep Randle. But I mean, listen. If I would, but ultimately, I would let Harkenstein walk and keep OG. And my dream scenario is they don't re-sign Harkenstein, which is fine, and they keep OG and Randle.
Yeah, which that's certainly possible. And you go small, and Randall could play some of the 5. But yeah, that's a really good starting lineup. And the other thing going back to picks too is Tibbs never plays as younger guys. So with Bridges too, OG. The only thing with OG too is because I think he said it publicly, like he does not play if he does not feel 100%. That's the only thing with him. But you can get over that. I think the Knicks would love to resign him. It seems like they still have the space to do it, but yeah, they can't get him. Seems like they won't be able to get OG and Harkenstein both. But yeah, I think you got to let Harkenstein walk and get another center.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, let him walk, get another center, keep OG, keep Randall, and I think this team is going to be in great shape going to next year. So big trade for the Knicks should put them in great position to get to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in almost 25 years. So really, really good trade for the Knicks. But we are going to get to the NBA draft, and we're going to do our mock draft only the top 10 picks. I know this isn't as exciting of a draft. I mean, really for us, it's really where the UConn guys are going to go. And obviously, nationally, it's where Bronny James is going to go. But we're going to start at the top, and we're going to start with the Atlanta Hawks and who we think the Hawks are going to take. And for me, with the first pick in my mock draft, I got the Hawks taking Zachary. I'm trying to pronounce his name. Rashache. It's funny. He got the number 1 pick in the draft, and I don't think the average fan can pronounce his last name. It shows you how this draft is this year. Zachary Rashache out of France. So, and I think this is a guy that, can play defense, something the Hawks need. He can shoot. The issue with him, though, is really what's his upside. I've seen I haven't really seen what is this guy's upside? That's the thing. I've seen Franz Wagner. That's pretty much the upside of him. So I mean, this is a good player that you could add to a core with we could add to Trey with we could put with Trae Young. We'll see what happens with DeJounte Murray if the Hawks eventually keep DeJounte Murray. But yeah, I think this is a guy who can play defense, which the Hawks need. And with the first pick, I looked at all the guys. It's hard to pick a guy. This is gonna be interesting to see who goes number 1 in this draft because I think it's still up in the air between him, Sarr, and there's a guy from UConn that could be in that conversation as well. But yeah, I'm going to go with Rosh Shea here as the number 1 pick.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the UConn guy, Donovan Clingan here. He's such a skilled passer, and for a big, he sees the game. He sees the game very well. And that was, we were talking before the show, and I really think that the Hawks, if they do, I know their talks of maybe trading Younger or Murray, but if they keep both those guys, I think you can use Klingon like the Warriors used to do at Draymond when he was at the top of the key, and he could facilitate the offense while they run some other action to get Steph and Clay open. And I really think that Klingon could be beneficial for that. And then also, I think defensively too, like the Hawks were one of the worst defensive teams in the league. Clean at 7'2", he's going to make an impact at the rim. And again, I think that 3-point shot's coming. He hit one last year at UConn. You could, watch him during warm-ups. Like, he does have the shot. So I do think that's an element he could add to his game, and that's the way it's going. So if he can do that, and he runs the floor very well for a guy 7'2". So I think clinging to the Hawks, could be very beneficial for him.
Crazy. A guy we watched at Bristol Central could be the number 1 overall pick. That's crazy. I mean, I actually saw him play live once. I mean, he demanded at least a double team. That's how dominant he was in high school. But yeah, I mean, I don't know how if the Hawks are going to take number 1 because the thing is he's only played 2 years of college, but what's his upside? I've seen Marcus Gasol comp, but in most drafts he would never be number 1 overall. But in this one, he does have a chance.
Yeah, he does, and I wonder now with NIL, with some of these big, or with some of these guys that could, will they stay the extra year or two? Like maybe we do get an older draft kind of coming along, maybe a freshman. So I could see it being a little bit of the new trend here. If guys go to school and the school pays them well enough, maybe they stay an extra year. It makes them NIL money before they go to the draft to really solidify the game. So I could see this becoming a trend in college for the NBA draft. I really could.
Yeah, it definitely could be. It definitely could be. But we'll move on to the number 2 pick. And with the second pick, the Wizards, to me, I think have the worst roster in the NBA. And I think they're the team with the least amount of hope in the league. They got a number 2 overall pick in this draft. So to me, their best player is Kyle Kuzma. You don't want Kyle Kuzma to be your best player. Denny, obvious, it doesn't look like he's worked out. Jordan Poole has been a really down year for them last year. He fell off the map last. He was one of the best players on the Warriors championship team, and he completely fell off the map last year. So, but with this pick, I'm going to go with Alexander Sarr. I think he's a athletic big man. I think the issue with him is how is he as a shooter? I think he's a guy who's pretty good inside, but how is Sarr as a shooter? So with this pick, I'm going to go with Alexander Sarr, another French guy, another guy from France.
Yeah, another French guy, and yeah, I'm taking him as well here for the Wizards. He's a big that could, he's got some skills as a guard, so he can, handle the ball a little bit. He's a good shot blocker. He's not yet, you mentioned, not yet a consistent shooter, but he could still knock down enough where I think the defense has to respect him, and he could help out spacing the floor. But I do think he's a guy who can put the ball on the floor, get to the basket and score. And yeah, I think he's a guy too that can guard multiple positions, which, the new age, you kind of like guys that can do that. So I think for the Wizards here as well, Alexander Sarr is the pick.
All right, with the number 3 overall pick, this is the Rockets pick. And the Rockets, I mean, this definitely could be a spot for Klingon, but the Rockets got Şengün. So I went with a guard here. I got the Rockets taking Reed Sheppard out of Kentucky. Really good shooter. Really, really good shooter. I think he could help that team. You never know. You don't know what the Rockets are going to do. The Rockets haven't signed Jalen Green to any max extension, so you don't know what they're going to end up doing with Jalen Green. But I think this is a shooter that could help this team. You got a pretty good point guard. You got a pretty good point guard in Van Fleet. You got Şengün inside, even though he missed time last year. And you got Reed Sheppard. So I think this is a really good shooter that could help this team. That's why I get the Rockets taking him number 3 overall.
I'm going with Zachary Rochache here, the France forward. He's got the ideal frame nowadays to be a wing guy. And he's an excellent catch and shoot. He's good perimeter, but consistency wise as a shooter, he's got to get a little bit better. But I think he's a guy that could kind of space the floor. for the Houston Rockets, and a team that's starting to get there. And last year they really played well at the end of the year, and I think he could fit in very well with the team and kind of could play multiple spots on the wing. So I get the Rockets getting Rochester.
All right, with the number 4 overall pick for the Spurs. Spurs need a guard. Stephon Castle is there. We saw it last year. We saw the upset. Yeah, he definitely wasn't the best player on the national championship team last year. But we knew one thing I did know is one thing I did feel though is he has the most NBA upside. That's why I got him going number 4 overall, and I got him going number 4 overall to the Spurs. I mean, I think that, yes, he didn't handle the ball that much last year, but I think eventually his ball handling skills will improve. I think he'll become a better three-point shooter. I think he's a really good defender, which is something the Spurs are going to need. I think he'll play well with Wemby. He's that guard who will be able to get the ball to Wembanyama. So with the number 4 overall pick, I got our guy going number 4 overall, Stephon Castle, to the Spurs.
I got this one. I got another guard, but from Kentucky, and Reed Shepherd. Yeah, he is the most lethal 3-point shooter in this class. Like he was rated in the 100th percentile in jump shots as a true freshman last year. I love the way the kid plays. He plays with a lot of motion, but uses it good. He's a hard, and I think he's still a pretty good defender as well. But he's a guy, that can create, but he'll disappear at times, and which is something that you hope to kind of improve. But I really like his defense, and again, kind of struggled sometimes in the big moment with Kentucky, but I think he's a guy that could add another 3-point threat for the San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah, definitely can, and definitely they'll need some shooting, especially the Spurs definitely will need some shooting. So I would Reed Shepherd there definitely makes sense. Number 5 overall pick goes to the Pistons. I mean, you went a 14 game with the 5th pick. Hey, in this draft, I don't think you're going to mind. For the Pistons, they got Cade Cunningham. I think he's really good. You have another guard in Jaden Ivey, which the coach should have been playing more over Killian Hayes. I don't get why. That's why Monty Williams is out of a job, but. I got them taking Montez Bulius from the G League Ignite. This is a good wing, good shooter. I think it could help this team going forward. I got Bulius going to the Pistons at 5.
Yeah, I got same pick here. Montez Bulius from the G League Unite. He's a wing that can space the floor. He's a good attacking the rim. And he's got some highlight fill finish in him, and he can knock down the 3 ball, and he's got to improve a little bit as a creator offensively. But I think with the Pistons can't go wrong here with any pick, because they just need talent. I think Bowles would be a nice selection here for the Detroit Pistons.
With the 6th overall pick, that is the Hornets, and this is where I got Donovan Clingan going. I got Clingan. I know you don't like it, but I got Clingan going number 6 overall. The Hornets. I look at the roster. I know they can go anywhere because LaMelo Ball can't stay healthy. They do with Brandon Miller and Miles Bridges came back last year. And I know they have Mark Williams, but I like Clingan going here. Number 6 overall. I think this would be a good spot for Donovan Clingan here. I know they have Mark Williams, but I feel like the Hornets do need some size, and I think this would be a really good spot here, having the Hornets take Donovan Clingan.
I'm with the guard from Kentucky. Another one, Rob Dillingham. I think they need another guard that could play alongside LaMelo Ball here. Dillingham grew up about an hour away from Charlotte. He's an electrifying, guard that is a really good shot maker. Defensively, he's got to improve a little bit on that end of the floor. But I think he's somebody. I don't know why he came off the bench pretty much all year for Kentucky, but he was a very good. I get him and Reed Shepherd were very good spark plugs. But I think he's somebody that if he becomes better as a playmaker, which right now with LaMelo Ball playing beside him, he won't have to do that much. But if he can really do that, I think that in the defense that comes along, he could be a really solid piece here for the Charlotte Hornets.
And the thing is I've seen comps. He probably has one of the highest comps of anyone in this draft. Rob Dillingham. I mean, I saw Derrick Rose comparison somewhere. He's really small, but
Yeah.
I saw some, Derrick Rose compare. I think he might have the most upside. Correct me if I'm wrong, because you watched him play more than me last year. I think he might have the most upside of anyone in this draft.
Yeah, no, because I've seen a comparison to Kyrie Irving. I think with the
Kyrie Irving. Yep.
Yeah, I do think he's got a very high ceiling, and I do think because I think Connect's got the highest floor, but I do think he could have the highest ceiling, Dillingham. Because yeah, he's a very quick guard. He can knock down shots. I don't know why this guy did not start at Kentucky last year. I really don't know why. That's part of Cal's issues, but like
Yeah.
I could really I could see him coming in. Him and Lamelo Ball could be an electrifying backcourt. That I could definitely see him with the way he can knock down shots and and he could create on his own. I think he could be. Yeah, I do think he could be a very exciting player, one of the better ones in the draft or in this class.
I could. I mean, with time, yes. I mean, none of these guys are going to be even the top guys don't make that big. Even Wemby this year. I mean, his team still was one of the worst teams in the NBA. So it's definitely going to take time for all these guys to be to be really good players. But at number 7, we got the Blazers, and I got him. Which you got Dillingham going number 6. I got him going number 7. I got him going number 7 to the Blazers. I think that. I think you put him with Scoot Henderson. You got the guard play there. I think this is a pick. I think he's got the most upside in the Blazers. They're a rebuilding team, so I think this is a fit.
Yeah, I'm going with another guard, but I'm going with Dalton Connect out of Tennessee. He's a 5th-year guy. I've watched him the last couple of years, even at North Colorado. I've loved his game. He's got the highest, he's got the highest floor. He's got the most polished offensive game in this class as well. He just turned 23, so he's gonna be the oldest lottery pick since Buddy Hield back in 2016. But he's versatile. He's pretty athletic too, and he's a guy. In the big spot, in the big moment, he's not afraid to take that shot. And I love his offensive game. He's struggled at the rim, finishing at the rim. That's got to come. But I do think he's got the most polished game. And the Portland that's rebuilding right now, yeah, they can't go wrong. And I think adding an electrifying offensive talent like Dalton Connect that's going to knock down shots it is a nice start here for the Portland Trailblazers.
At number 8, I have trouble pronouncing this guy's name too. I think it's Tijan Solon for the Spurs.
Tijan Solon.
Tijan. Oh, I was close.
Yeah.
Tijan for a guy in this draft who's like not even like a top pick. All right. I know he's a top 10 pick, but not like the number 1 pick. I was close there. Tijan Solon from the Spurs. I think for the Spurs, you got your guard and Castles. You got your 2 guards, Castle and Devin Vassell. You obviously got Wemby, and I think you need a power forward. So I think this would be a fit for them. I think this would be another fit for them. Draft at this point, draft with need. You need a power forward. So I got Solon going to the Spurs at 8.
Yeah, so I got Stephon Castle. I know you had him going 4th to San Antonio. I got him going 8th, and I really would love Castle to go to San Antonio because I think him and Wemby could fit very well together. If you mentioned it, he's got to work on the 3-point shot. He's got to work on being a better better playmaker. But like he's a lockdown defender what the Spurs need. He's a selfless player. He's the 5th option on that starting rotation for a top 10 pick as a freshman. That's not usually the norm, but he didn't care and he played through it. And I feel like he's got great feel too. Like as a freshman, there's times, especially early on, where like he didn't make the right play or he kind of felt a little bit rushed. But I thought as the year went on, he had really good feel for the game. He wasn't too much in like like the game didn't really speed up on him, which I think is huge. And, hopefully it'll translate for him. But I got Stephon Castle going 8 to San Antonio.
Yeah, we both got Castle going there. So yeah, it'd be nice to see Castle with the Spurs there. With the number 9 overall pick, the Grizzlies. This is the one team in the top 10 that is in win now mode. This is the one team in the top 10 for me that is in win. I know Dylan Brooks isn't there anymore, but this is the one team for me that is in top. They still have Ja, Jaren Jackson, a lot of injuries a ton of injuries last year. This was the number 2 seed in the East in 2022. No, number 2 seed in the West in 2022 and 2023. So I think what they need is a guy that's going to be good right away. They can't be taking one of these guys with upside. I think they got to be they got to have a guy that is a sure thing, and that's why I got Dalton Connect going here. I think it'd be a really good fit here. He doesn't need to be a star here. He can do what he does best. Hit be a 3-point shooter. Be a guy who can hit threes. He could do exactly what he does best. You got John Moran, who's the playmaker. He could be the guy who hits 3-point shots. He could be that piece that could really, really help Memphis compete for a championship. So he doesn't have to be the guy, but he could be the piece to help them compete for a title. That's why I got Dalton Connect going number 9 overall with the Grizzlies.
I like that pick for Memphis. I think, yeah, he's fitting really well there. I got on night take another guard out of Providence, Devin Carter. His dad's an assistant coach on the team. He's got that bulldog mentality. He's got that. If he's not on your team, you hate him, but like if he's on your team, if he's one of your favorite players, and I love him. He's the type of guy that I think will make everybody. The way he pushes himself, he'll make everybody else better around him. Not even on during a game, but in practice. And I think obviously the Bryce Hopkins injury, stunk for Providence and it really hurt the team as a whole. But I think for Carter, it helped improve his stock because the one knock on his first year at Providence was he was not a great outside shooter, and he showed that he could really knock down the 3-point shot, and he really became a better shooter from that, and he proved the stock. So I think in that sense, it really helped Evan Carter. So for me, I really hoping that he falls to 13 and Sacramento takes him because this is the type of guy they need. But I think if Memphis gets him in a win now mode, yeah, maybe he doesn't start, but I think he's a nice piece off the bench that is going to play his behind off too on the defensive end of the floor.
Yes, and again, like he was a junior in college, so this is another guy that's a player that he might not have a great upside, but you kind of know what you're getting. You know what his floor is, and for a team that's a championship contender like Memphis, you usually see a team that's a contender in the top 10, but for various reasons last year they've wound up falling into the top 10. So taking guys like Devin Carter and Dalton Connect are really going to help this team. I think these are two guys that can help this team this season.
Yeah, absolutely. Memphis, with how tough the West is, if they can add another piece that can help them right away and could have impacts, it's going to be huge for Memphis because, the Western Conference is not getting any easier. So, two guys that you kind of already know what their floor is. It's definitely huge kind of for Memphis, and two guards as well to play alongside with John Morant that could really, definitely help out the team.
With the number 10, we'll wrap up here because we cannot do 30 picks with this draft. I'm sorry, I cannot go through 30 draft picks. I'm sorry, but with the number 10, with the 10th, I had to draw the line somewhere in this draft. Sometimes in the past I've went to 15. I had to go to 10. This draft, I had to go to 10. That's where I was drawing the line. Okay, so with the 10th overall pick for me, I got the Jazz getting Cody Williams. Kid's got upside. I think again another rebuilding team. They got Jordan Clarkson, they got Lowry Marketing, but this would be a good, another wing who could, it's got upside, could be a really good player. So I got Cody Williams going number 10 to the Jazz.
Yeah, same pick here as well with you. Only the second one I think we've had
so.
Yeah. Different ones, which is good. So, the Jazz, I love it. They need some infusion of talent there at the wing spot, and I think Cody Williams brings that. He's a late bloomer, but a lot of injuries last year. But I thought when he got back towards the end of the year, I thought he played pretty well. His brother Jalen Williams, brothers on Oklahoma City. But I've seen a comp to him and Rip Hamilton. If he could hit that floor, I think, or hit that ceiling, I think that would be great for Utah. And I think I think he'd be really phenomenal. I think he's really good defensively. Really good quick release, 2 on a shot. So I think it'd be a fun player for Utah. Where a team that they got a lot of picks coming up, but they just need talent right now.
Exactly. So before we wrap up our draft talk, we can't miss on this one. We have to talk about this. I know he probably should not be. I mean, let's start off saying even the fact he's in this position after what happened last year is pretty amazing. After what he's suffering a cardiac arrest last year, but I do feel like he should have had another year of college, but he decided to come out. So the big question is though, where is he going to go? Where is Bronny James going to go? And I think 55 to the Lakers. I think he's going to play with his dad. I think it's going to work out where he's going to play with his father. I think it is because listen, I don't know if a lot of teams are really going to, because this guy really should be having another year in college, but I think it's going to be. If the Lakers at the 55th pick, I don't think they're gonna pass on Bronny James. I think Bronny James goes to the Lakers at 55.
I think that's where he's gonna go. I think he should be undrafted. Yeah, from him coming back from the cardiac arrest and actually playing this year was great to kind of see him get back from that. But a freshman with his stats, no team sniffs at drafting him. So I get
I
the
know.
last name. He he needs another couple years, I thought, in college, but to really develop. But I think he'll go 55 with the Lakers. It's a team that, I know
And would
55.
you be surprised with the Lakers, though? They draft a coach with no experience at all.
Yeah.
They draft a coach with no experience, and they've ran through a gazillion coaches. And really, they're probably gonna do LeBron James a favor, because if LeBron James doesn't pick them in 2020, they might have missed the playoffs for an entire decade.
Yeah. Yeah, they would have. It should have been, well, it would have been awesome to
As a
see that
Kings fan, you
franchise
would
do
have
that.
liked that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, they'll do LeBron his favor. JJ dropping the F bomb and the introductory press conference
Oh
was
man.
that was a
Oh
great look
god.
for
Oh god.
JJ. Not
Oh my
not
god.
surprising. Type of guy that the head coach is going to be. But yeah, they'll do LeBron a favor. He's not going to play much, Bronny. But hey, good luck to him. I don't want to totally root against the kid, but he's just, the last name really helps him out here. So he's not ready. I didn't think, that USC team, they just didn't fit well together. That that team just didn't work. But good luck to him. Yeah, he shouldn't be drafted, but he's gonna be. Yeah, the Lakers will do him a favor and do him solid, and probably won't play much.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I agree with you there. He will not get much time in the NBA. But we got a champion in the Stanley Cup final, and the Yankees are going through one of their toughest stretches of the season. But before we talk about that, we are going to hear from our friends at JPEG Financial and Shamrock Home Inspections.
Do you have a 401k and some savings for future retirement, but don't even know if it's enough to live off of? How much is enough? How often are you thinking about it? The team at JPEG's Financial Group can help set your mind at ease. We specialize in creating strategies in the planning and managing of your financial, educational, and investment needs. We help clients pursue their investment goals with sound financial strategies. You deserve a personal, tailored plan. Lasting, meaningful, and open relationships are the foundation of our practice. You've worked hard for your money and should feel confident in your investment choices as you make decisions for your financial future. Your goals are our goals. We are dedicated to your needs and hopes for your future. Visit our website and give us a call at 860-430-5397. Securities offered through Raymond James Financial Services, Inc., member FINRA, SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through Raymond James Financial Services Advisors, Inc. JPEX Financial Group, LLC is not a registered broker-dealer and is independent of Raymond James Financial Services. JPEX Financial Group is located at 78 Eastern Boulevard, Glastonbury, Connecticut. There's no bigger investment than home ownership. And to make sure the house is up to your standards, you need a professional to look it over. Brian Flanagan from Shamrock Home Inspections is a licensed home inspector and a member of the Connecticut Association of Home Inspectors. Brian was a contractor for over 15 years, so he knows how homes should be constructed and how mechanicals should work.
What makes me a good home inspector was the 20 years that I was a home improvement person, doing all the different repairs that I have done and what other people have done wrong that I had to go out and fix. So I have a pretty quick eye on seeing what's right and what's wrong. Before you move, call Shamrock Home Inspections.
Before you make the biggest investment of your life, call Brian Flanagan from Shamrock Home Inspections at 860-268-2566 or visit shamrockhomeinspectionct.com.
So for the first time in franchise history, the Florida Panthers win the Stanley Cup. They won the cup on Monday night, beating the Edmonton Oilers 2-1. The drought continues in Canada. Still, the Canadians, the last team to win the Stanley Cup. I was only 2 years old the last time a Canadian team won the Stanley Cup. You weren't even born, so it's been a long, long time since a Canadian team has won the Stanley Cup. But we'll start with the Panthers and why the Panthers won Game 7. And I think it's this, to me, it's this simple. Sergio Bobrovsky. He was great in games 1 through 3. Then he gave up 18. I don't know if he gave up all those. I think he got pulled in Game 4, but he wasn't good in the 3 games they lost. And then the last one, he was great, and they ended up winning the cup. Clearly, the best team. Very happy. I'm just so happy for Paul Maurice, though. And guess where he started his career?
Really?
Right here in Hartford. 1995. Started in Hartford. Was the last coach of the Hartford Whalers. So, and he had 2 tries to win the cup. Lost in 2002 when he was with the Hurricanes to the Red Wings, and then he lost last year to the Golden Knights. But he finally wins a cup, and why they won it, I'd say Sergio Bobrovsky. Sergio Bobrovsky. The Panthers gave him the day off, which looked like on Sunday, which was the right move. Which ended up being the right. I was a little scared when he wasn't, doing anything when he wasn't with them on Sunday, but gave him the day off. Played great on Monday, and the Panthers won the cup. Justin, why did the Panthers win the cup in your mind?
Yeah, Rossi was awesome. And, my first one was I think, the guys two in front of him did an awesome job. They blocked a ton of shots, they sacrificed their bodies, they blocked 17 shots on Monday night. They did a really excellent job there to kind of just to, give up their bodies at game 7. You got till October to kind of rest up now from all the bruises that you take. And then my second one is they got the first goal. The last 8 now in the last 8 Stanley Cup game 7s in the Cup Finals, the team that scores the first goal won those games, and so scoring the first goal was huge for them. Then my third one was, and probably the most important one, is they finally got back to playing their game. They mucked that game up. They were excellent on the forecheck. They took away chances. They made it a very ugly hockey game, which Florida wants, and they took away Edmonton's speed, and they did an extra job game 7 getting back their game. And an 8-hour plane ride after blowing when it's going 3-3 going back home, credit to them, because man, that I can't imagine what's going through your head at that time, but they're resilient enough to survive and get the cup.
It says a lot about this team, though, that they were up 3-0, blew that 3-0 lead, and came back and won game 7. It says a lot about that team, and I think it all started for this team. It all started last year when they were the last team to get in the playoffs. Nobody gave them a chance against the Bruins. They came back and won that series. Then they ended up, breezing through the Eastern Conference. They ended up beating Toronto, and they ended up beating Toronto, and then they ended up beating Carolina in the conference finals. They did lose to Vegas, but I think where it all started for this team was upsetting the Bruins, and then they had the confidence again to beat the Bruins in the second round, beat our Rangers in the conference final, and then ended up winning a cup.
Yeah, and they never should have made the playoffs last year, because Pittsburgh on the final night of the year played Chicago at home, and Pittsburgh was like a $4 favorite, and they blew it. And they snuck in that way. They really they could have missed out on the playoffs last year, and who knows what, things could have been a lot different. But yeah, they really got their confidence going after they beat the Bruins last year, and they started they just rode that momentum all the way. And then, yeah, they had like 12 guys that were injured. I think half of them just couldn't play against the Knights, and they just, they didn't have anything left by the time they played Vegas. But yeah, this year, they wanted that thing, and to go back 3-3 after going up 3-0. To hold on to that thing is, credit to that team. There's a lot of veteran guys that Kachuk, Barkov, I don't think he's won one. Bobrovsky hasn't won one. So a lot of those guys finally got their first cup, and credit to them.
So now moving on to the Oilers, why did they come up short in game 7? I think the biggest thing, it's another obvious point. I bring up a lot of obvious hockey points. I'm not the biggest hockey guy, so you just have to you always just have to bear with me here. But I think the most obvious thing was Draisaitl and McDavid didn't score. I think that was the most obvious thing. And they need, and really, I mean, Draisaitl wasn't that good but McDavid was so good in games 4 and 5. He was the reason why this team even had a shot to come back and win this series. And he just I think just ran out of gas going into game 7. I just think that's why the Oilers lost.
Yeah, for them, that's McDavid and Draisaitl were non-existent in games 6 and 7. And Leon was only scored 2 goals since the Western Conference Finals. I think he was playing through an injury. I haven't seen if they've had their end of season press conference yet to kind of talk about all the injuries they had. I'd be very interested to see. That's been the case. But yeah, McDavid didn't get shot on net in game 6, and he had a couple of attempts there in game 7. And then they had that opportunity with a few minutes left where they had Florida had 4 guys in the net with Bobrovsky lying on the puck. They had opportunities there to get one late. They just couldn't punch it in. And look, McDavid's an awesome player, but not to really put a lot of, but Gretzky and Lemieux, he's not on that territory just yet, I think, because those two I don't think disappear like McDavid did. But credit to the Florida Panthers as well. McDavid's still an awesome player. Still one of the best. Hopefully he helped kind of bring in some new hockey fans. But my second one is Skinner lost the goalie battle with Bobrovsky. That second goal he gave up on Monday night, I think that's one he wants back. I thought he was screened at first, but he just missed it. And that's one that he should have had. He probably wants to win that back. He played pretty well throughout, but again, Bobrovsky outplayed him in Monday night, and that was the difference there. And then my last one is just Edmonton just had a ton of overcome all year. They opened up the year 5-12-1. They're already 10 points back by Thanksgiving. They just had they were fighting uphill all year. They were trailing 3-2 in the Vancouver series. They're trailing 3-2 against the Stars as well. So I just think it was a team. And then obviously they were down 3 on this series. So for them, I just think they were, they just been climbing uphill battle all year. And I just think they just ran out of steam. And you saw that final shift in the final minute. They really didn't have any legs left. They just ran out of gas. So that's the problem when you dig yourself in a hole like that. And unfortunately, I think that's kind of what happened there.
Yeah, and speaking of the Oilers and McDavid, even though the Oilers didn't win the Cup, McDavid did win the Conn Smythe Trophy as the best player in the playoffs. The question is, should have McDavid won the Conn Smythe? In my opinion, yes, he should have. I mean, he was outstanding all postseason. He was the reason why the Oilers even had a chance to even have a chance in that series. So I would say yes.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think McDavid, should have. Because it's not like the NFL or the Super Bowl or the NBA Finals or even the World Series. It's throughout the entire playoffs that the Conn Smythe is awarded to. And McDavid, he had the 34 assists. Like even only like Lemieux and Gretzky have put up those type of numbers in a postseason series. And I didn't know this too until this morning. You have to put in the Conn Smythe vote 10 minutes left in the third period. So so that's something too where maybe they're thinking, McDavid puts one on late or something, they tie it. So that's another thing. But yeah, like if Bobrovsky doesn't get pulled there in game 4 and doesn't play as bad in game 5, like I think he would have won the award. But because of him getting pulled there, I just don't think you could give it to him. So yeah, I think McDavid was I know they lost. I know he didn't show up in game 6, game 7, but it is throughout the whole postseason. And yeah, he's for majority of it was the best player throughout the entire playoffs.
He was, and I mean, yeah, I know you said about putting him with Lemieux and Gretzky is a little ridiculous, but right now he's clearly the best player in hockey. But I know in the NBA it was a little bit of an outlier this year because the Celtics were just clearly a better team than the Mavs, but clearly in the NBA Finals, you got the best player in the court. Usually, if you're the best player in the court, you're probably going to win. It's so much different in hockey. Hockey is more of a team game because as great as Sidney Crosby won, he went 7 years between winning Stanley Cups. As great as Alex Ovechkin was, he only won one Stanley Cup. And Connor McDavid, I think he eventually will win a Stanley Cup. But in this series, the better team won.
Yeah, they did. We talked about it during the Rangers series too. Like Florida, they got their 12 forwards. They could all score, and they're all really good on the forecheck. Like they got 4 lines that you can roll out in the postseason, which is beneficial. Where sometimes you only got a line. For most of Edmonton's problems the last couple of years was they really can only rely on their first or second line to score. This year, defensively they've been a lot better too. And Skinner played pretty well down the stretch as well, which helped. But yeah, a lot of these stars sometimes don't get it, and they don't like even the goaltender be your best player. But we've seen it as Ranger fans for the last 30 years. Your goaltender, yeah, he can be your best player, but it's tough to win a cup if that's the case. If your goaltender's the best player, and the problem is you got to be good on the forecheck. You got to have 3-4 lines that you could roll out and be confident to score a goal. And the Panthers had that. Vegas had that last year. The teams that have that usually win the cup. So yeah, it's a team one. And again, the top guys only play about a third of the time. They only play about 20-25 minutes. So they're not playing. You can't play 60 minutes in hockey. You won't make it. So yeah, I think hockey is definitely more of a team, and it's like baseball. You got to have a good all around team to have a chance, and that's why Trout, Ohtani, the Angels could never because they didn't have enough around those two. Yeah,
that's the difference with hockey and baseball. Superstar players. Having a superstar doesn't mean you're always going to be a really good team. Like in football, if you have a really good quarterback, if you have a great quarterback, you're probably going to be playing for championships, as you know very well. But then when that quarterback goes, you're going to fall off. Just like in the NBA, when you have, a superstar like LeBron James in Cleveland or in Miami. And then when he leaves those places, those teams don't make the playoffs. So, yeah, hockey's just different than it is in football or basketball. That, yeah, you just need the overall team to be successful.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you put it very well said, and yeah, that's the thing, and I think that's which makes the playoffs fun. This in baseball, you always kind of see these upsets, and the hot goaltender, and yeah, if you got to put that team around, and that's huge. That's and Edmonton's kind of got that now. Finally, they got a good coach, and yeah, Florida, the forecheck, it's been so good, and yeah, their bottom two lines did some damage, and that's all you need because hockey, you can have your clutch guys out there. Not like baseball where maybe your number 9 batter with the game on the line. Hockey, you could your top line could be on the ice for the final, but for the final few seconds, but yeah. Yeah, it's a team game, and you got to have a good all-around team. And Florida had that. Edmonton's done a little bit better, this year with that, and the coaching and the goaltending, and they're getting close. I know Draisaitl's a free agent, so they got to keep him around. But yeah, I think Edmonton will be back, and McDavid, I think one of these days will win that cup.
Yeah, I think he will. I think he definitely will. Had a great year, and I definitely would like to see him win a cup. He's just too good of a player not to have a Stanley Cup. But we are going to shift over to baseball, and the Yankees are struggling right now. They have lost 7 out of their last 10 games, have some key injuries with Rizzo and Stanton missing time. Big surprise there that Rizzo and Stanton are missing time. Some of the pitching has slid. I mean, Rendon has really struggled his last couple starts. You've had Garrett Cole had a rough one last night, and they're also getting pathetic play at second base from Gleyber Torres. And the thing is, when they were winning and Stanton and Rizzo were healthy, it's not really noticeable because a lot of 7, 8, 9s in baseball are nothing. But you see last night, we have bases loaded, nobody out. So he's one of those guys who's up in that spot. He can't do anything. He strikes out. So it's just the pitching has slid a little bit. The bullpen, I know it struggled on Thursday, but they were down in that game anyways. But yeah, dude, you got injuries in the lineup. You got, some of the starting pitching struggling. I didn't even mention Heel. He struggled against the Orioles too. So some of the starting pitching starting to struggle. Offense, they're getting injuries to the lineup. Bullpen up and down. So right now, thank God, there's still 2 games up in first place because thank God the Orioles are playing the way they are. But this is definitely the roughest stretch of the year for the Yankees right now.
Yeah, it is. It's been brutal. Last night you roll out the lineup and JD Davis is hitting the fly. You already knew that.
Loaded, nobody out in the first inning. They couldn't get a run.
Nope. That's like outside of Volpe, Judge, Soto, Verdugo's been cold of late, but I guess you could put him in that mix. But outside of that, you don't have anybody that is competent. Like you're batting Jahmai Jones as your DH. Why don't you just put Ben Rice?
What's that?
He gets a pitch at Ben Rice. Why don't I know it's lefty on lefty, but I don't care.
Yeah, I think give the guy. Stop with this lefty righty stuff. I'm so tired of it.
Yeah, I don't get it.
I'm tired of this. And every team does it, not just the Yankees. Every team does it. But stop with that. Just put the better player in there.
Yeah, I don't understand. I just don't. And in the last couple of days, really been infuriating. Sunday they finally get that rally. They Volpe's on second, nobody out. They ground ball right to the shortstop, and Volpe heads the third, gets out, and Boone's like, "Oh, I like how he's being aggressive." It's like, isn't the Cardinals in baseball never make the first or last out of third?
Exactly.
And then the Torres stuff with him is his groin's bothering him. If that's the case, put him on the AL.
Listen, stop it. I don't want to hear any more excuses for Gleyber Torres. This guy's got to start playing. I'm so tired of it. I'm so tired of the excuses they're making for Gleyber. Stop making excuses for the players. He's got to step up. I had such high hopes for him after 2019, and he just hasn't stepped up at all. Boone has got to stop making excuses for him.
No, they do. He's a head case of himself. He's a head case, and he needs a few days off just to get his mind right, I feel like. But if it's groin's bothering him, just put him in the AL right now because really, I don't care who it is behind him. Or they're not going to do much worse than Gleyber is right now. They're really not. The guy's a total head case, and I don't know because of his contract's up and he's kind of playing with the pressure of he's got to play for his future or whatnot. But he's been so bad. He doesn't hustle out the ball last night in the 8th inning. Like, I know Oswald Perez is struggling at AAA, but they got this other. It's like Jorbit, the Vans they got from the Dodgers last offseason. Like, why don't you give him a chance to play a little bit? I think his numbers are starting to go up the last week or so. Throw him in, call him up. Like at this point, just try anything. I don't want Jemai Jones out there, playing. Guy's not good. He hasn't been good with the Angels or the Orioles the last couple of years. Like you run him out as your DH. I can't explain it anymore.
Yeah, just put Ben Rice in. You got JD, right? Have Rice or Davis, one of those two guys be the DH. Yeah, definitely get Jemai Jones out of the lineup. Obviously, the catcher situation has just not been good for this team for a while. Austin Wells just hasn't, lived up. Trevino is below average to below average. So, and the thing is, the 7, 8, 9 hitters. The 7, 8, 9 hitters have been an issue in the lineup. And LeMahieu, come on.
Yeah, he's
done. I mean, come on. He's hitting under 200. So the 7, 8, 9 hitters in the lineup are a problem on a lot of baseball teams. But where this becomes more of an issue for the Yankees is when you don't have, and this happened last year, when you don't have Rizzo and you don't have Stan. Now this is becoming an issue because you have, instead of having 6 good to average hitters in the lineup, now you have 4 good to average hitters in the lineup with Volpe, Stanton, Judge, and Verdugo.
Yeah, it is because because you're relying on a bunch of older guys like a LeMahieu, a Rizzo to stay healthy, and now you got the Jemai Jones out there. Trevino's not a great hitter. Like I'm at the point, like just let Wells play, let him figure it out offensively. Like Trevino couldn't throw us out on the base pass right now. He really couldn't.
Yeah.
I know they always say framing, but I would love the action umpire. How much does framing actually matter? Because they are professional umps.
It doesn't matter.
Do you really steal a pitch?
They know what they're doing. The umpires behind the plate know what they're doing.
Yeah, so I don't get the framing angle either. But yeah, like the lineup is just so bad right now that when you get past Verdugo, you don't really expect anybody to get a base hit right now. I don't think LeMahieu is an extra base hit yet this year, and I'm hoping maybe it's just a little bit of he's still in spring training mode. But he's up to 80 at bats already, so he's getting kind of close to that mark where, he's at 69 at bats. So maybe another week or so. I'm hoping he breaks out of it, but it's starting to get concerning with LeMahieu. Because I know the second half of last year he played well, but the first half was ugly. So hopefully he can turn around soon. But the bottom of the lineup it's definitely an issue, and I know you got no Dominguez right now. I know Peraza is struggling at AAA, but you got to try something because a lot of these guys right now are just not getting a job done.
And you made a good point about the lineup. And you could say they scored 7 runs last night, but 4 of them were on an Aaron Judge grand slam against a Mets bullpen that's absolutely terrible. Okay, so I mean, you could say that, but yeah, the lineup is struggling. The only saving grace for this team is what they got coming. Before the Baltimore series. They got 4 with Toronto, 3 with Cincinnati, 3 with Boston's playing well. They got 3 with Boston, 3 with Tampa. I know they're AL East teams, but their teams are better than them. But you never know. I mean, this team lost 2 out of 3 in Boston a couple of weeks ago. So, but I think the saving grace is the schedule is favorable before that Baltimore series, before the All-Star break. So I do think this team, yes, they are banged up, but I don't think this team is going to completely implode because the schedule is favorable.
I'm hoping. Toronto is a mess, but they got Bo Bichette last night, which definitely helps that lineup out a little bit. But, you did lose 2 at Boston. I know Boston is on fire, but I'm kind of worried about the pitching side because this is the second time he's going to face guys now. In Baltimore last Wednesday. Yeah, I think it was Thursday. Yeah. Thursday. He loves that first pitch fastball. Adley Rutschman never swings at the first pitch. She was all over that fastball immediately. And, can he change his kind of, can he change the way he opens up at bat? Because he loves trying to get ahead with that fastball, but the O's are jumping all over that. Like the scouting report now is going to get a lot tougher on him. So I do worry a little about the starting pitching. The bullpen can't strike anybody out, and that's what you need nowadays. So I'm very concerned. I know the Reds are very inconsistent, but I am somewhat concerned. I know a couple weeks ago I said Dodgers, Yankees, we had that, and I said the Yankees have a better chance. I'm really
oh, you're definitely taking that back now. You're definitely taking that back.
I definitely am.
You're definitely taking that back now.
Yeah. Reality set in, and this is it's been a rough couple weeks, and I don't know. I'm very concerned with the way things are headed right now.
You got to be. You got to be. And let's hope things turn around. But things are not looking good right now for the Yankees. But we'll move on to a team where things are looking good for. That's the Red Sox. They've won 8 out of 10. They've taken that spot. They got that spot, and they got the third wild card spot right now. They're sitting at 43 and 37. That big come from behind win against the Blue Jays on Monday night. I'm telling you, I think this team's going to be in it. This team's going to be in it, and I say every week, when they get to July 31st, this team's got to add.
Yeah, they absolutely do. They got to add. They got to add pieces. Casas, hopefully back within the next couple of weeks now. They're starting pitch. I think Brian Balo is starting to become an issue. He did not. Things kind of avalanche for him last night, and he just was not able to get out of it. I thought his stuff was good, just could not. I think he's in his own head a little bit there, and he showed last night. But they've played the Blue Jays well. You got a good San Diego team coming up, but yeah, this is a team that's going to be. That's got to add. They got to add pieces. They got to add. Maybe another starter. Definitely another starter. I feel like maybe another bullpen guy.
I think another bat too. Even though they've hit better lately, I think another bat.
Yeah, another bat too would be huge. Jaron Duran. I think that guy. He's been on a tear of late.
Walk off on Monday. He had the walk off.
Yeah, Monday night.
Yeah.
Yep. He snapped his 14-game hitting streak last night, but he's been on a tear. He's somebody that definitely deserves a spot in the All-Star team. And Tyler O'Neill, Devers really hasn't even gotten going yet. Like, I know the numbers don't look, 285, 16 home run, 42 RBIs, but I feel like he hasn't really. I know he had that hot streak about a month ago in the month of May, but I feel like you get more out of him too. So I think for that Red Sox lineup, a couple of guys they got, if you could add Casas another bat, that Red Sox team would be dangerous, especially with we've talked about a lot. Alex Ford's in that dugout, so they'll always steal a couple games.
Oh, absolutely. And listen, you look at their schedule. I mean, it's favorite. They got the Padres. They've been playing pretty well. You got the Padres. Then you got the Marlins, the A's, and then a big series coming after the All-Star break against the Royals. That's a key series because the Royals and them are kind of neck and neck for that last spot in the AL wild card race. So that'll be a big series. But you got series against the Marlins and the A's. It's a good time to take advantage and maybe get a lead on Kansas City, and then in that 3-game series, take 2 out of 3 from Kansas City. If you can get like a 2 to 3 game lead on Kansas City by the All-Star break, you're in really good shape. Yeah,
absolutely. You will be. I believe too, they have not faced Texas or the Astros yet either this year. So, you still got 6 kind of, so you still got a bunch of games with those two that, of course, Houston's starting to play better after I declared them dead a couple weeks ago. Now they're on.
Don't ever count. It's like the Kansas City Chiefs. Don't ever count out the Astros. Don't ever count out the Astros. It's like the Chiefs in football. You don't ever count out the Astros.
No, yeah, that's on me there. I shouldn't have. I was kind of hoping that finally would not be the Yankees play.
You can hope. The Yankees played really well against them this year. You can always hope at the Astros, but the Astros will always be there. That's the one thing that's certain in baseball.
Oh, yeah. It has over the last couple of years. So, they still got some games in hand with them. They obviously still got some games against Tampa Bay as well. So, yeah, if they can get KC coming up here 2 out of 3, Kansas City starting to come back down to earth. They'll be really in really good shape. Yeah, if they add another guy or two with their schedule, if they can, they do well against the Royals of the world, the Astros, the Rangers, they're definitely setting themselves up in great shape to get that third wildcard spot in. Maybe the second one as well.
Yeah, you never know. They could beat out the Twins. We'll see what happens there. But that's going to wrap it up this week on Sports Talk with R&J. For Justin D'Onofrio, I'm Steve Risser. We will be back next week talking about NBA free agency, the first series of the year, the second series of the year between the Yankees and Red Sox in the Bronx, and any NFL news that comes our way. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Hello, my name is Joe Aguirre. I'm the president of Clovercrest Media Group. And here at CMG, we have a wide variety of podcasts, including sports shows like Keys to the City, The Roll Call, Throwing Jabs, All Four Downs, and Jawing About the G-Men. And great true crime shows like Sticky Week, Crimes and Consequences, Ivy League Murders, and Burn, the unsolved murder of David Eichmann. You can find all these podcasts and so much more by visiting clovercrestmedia.com.